I think the widening of targets within the region by Iran, to me, that indicates that this is a regime with absolutely feels that it has nothing to lose and everything to gain by hitting out.
Now, US-Israeli strikes on Iran continued this morning. Israel also struck back at Hezbollah in Lebanon after the Iranian proxy fired missiles at Israel. 4 US military personnel have been killed. 3 US F-15 fighter jets shot down by friendly fire in Kuwait. Oil and gas prices are starting to rise steeply, and President Trump says he's very disappointed in Keir Starmer for initially refusing the US use of British bases. Just some of the significant events so far in day 3 of the new Middle East war. Let's get the latest from the Times World Affairs correspondent, Catherine Philp. Catherine, what should we see, in your view, as especially significant among these latest developments today?
Thanks, Andrew. Well, I think the widening of targets within the region by Iran, to me, that indicates that this is a regime with absolutely feels that it has nothing to lose and everything to gain by hitting out. It's essentially banking on this being so painful to its Gulf neighbours that they will beg America to call this operation short. We've also seen another combat death, another American service man or woman has been killed. And again, this speaks to Iran's desire to up the costs of this intervention by the US to the point that pressure is put on President Trump at home that this was not what he was elected to do, to thrust the US back into war in the Middle East, and that will cause him to wrap things up quickly. I mean, I think the other significant development, perhaps the biggest one of the day, is Hezbollah engaging in this, because the wisdom has been that in the last 2 years, Israel has hit the Iranian proxies around it so badly that it's really blunted their ability to fight back on Iran's behalf. The fact that they are now involved suggests that there's a use it or lose it policy where the proxies are concerned, that they may be dramatically weakened, but this is the last gasp in which they can be used. And so I would expect to see more of those join the fray. I would expect that the Houthis will get involved, particularly in the Red Sea and against global shipping. Again, all to demonstrate that the costs to Israel and to the United States, particularly the United States, are too heavy to bear.
I see the Iranian Red Crescent is reporting that 555 have been killed by US-Israeli strikes, and the strikes have been on 138 cities. So it's a nationwide assault. But on day 3, is it more of the same, or do we have any idea what the US and the Israelis are now targeting?
We know that they started off by targeting the leadership. That wasn't necessarily their original plan, but then when they saw that opportunity, it was far too good to miss. And of course, that's why we saw the supreme leader taken off the chessboard. I think that some of that is still going on, but probably more now towards the military targets. So Revolutionary Guard commanders and command posts and command structures. Also, crucially, the sites of where the ballistic missiles are launched. When these missiles are launched, they leave a trace which exposes them, and so they can be located by the Israelis and the Americans. I think it will be to the dismay of Gulf countries that the launch sites that are being used to attack them are of a lower priority to the Americans and to the Israelis, because they these are shorter range sites, and so they're
Yes.
not the sites that are attacking Israel. They are, however, some of them are the sites that are attacking US bases in the Middle East. So those are a priority. The ones that are really hard to get and probably aren't being hit yet are the launch sites of these Shahid drones, the suicide drones that we've seen barrel into luxury hotels and the like across the Gulf. And those are perhaps the most difficult and lowest priority for the Israelis and Americans to go after. I would be looking to see how the Gulf themselves respond to this. I mean, are they simply going to pressure the Americans to call it short, or are they so angry that they might actually get involved themselves?
And they could go and take out these sites using their military. We've had this drone attack on the RAF base in Cyprus. Did we manage to stop one drone? What do we know about it?
We don't know very much other than that drone was, I think we'd know by now if there'd been any considerable damage. But the fact that it came our way and was targeting that again shows, I think, the degree to which a cornered Iran is lashing out. Now, also, I think it's critical that the Iranian regime has prepared for the severance of its command and control structures and decentralized things. So a lot of the decisions about targeting are being made very locally and not, not from the absolute top down. So commanders have huge license now, essentially, to lash out in whatever direction they see fit.
Indeed, and I saw the foreign minister for Iran allude to that. Catherine, we'll leave it there. I know you've got a busy day, plenty going on to cover. Catherine Philp of The Times there. Thank you for that.